YCS has just happened. We're going to talk about the controversies. There was a massive controversy in the grand finale, which I greatly disagree with. We'll talk about that. We'll get into it. We're also going to be covering all the illegal plays that I noticed during the YCS event. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
This was sus. What the sus was this?
So he's only allowed to play one, which he's doing. Also, fucking. Fucking is pretty interesting. Do you think fucking is coming in here?
Fucking disables your opponent from tribute.
What?
So he's only allowed to play one, which he's doing. Also, fucking. Fucking is pretty interesting. Do you think fucking is coming in here?
Fucking disables your opponent from tribute monsters, right? So I don't think this will be the case.
Let's look at what they were talking about. Fog King. They're looking at the side deck. The side deck of Fog King. The attack of this card becomes the combined original attack of the tributed monsters, but you don't have to tribute a monster to summon this, and neither player could tribute cards. So it is a side deck card that they were discussing. So now, like, under that context, let's listen to this again. It's muted.
Also, fucking. Fucking is pretty interesting. Do you think fucking is coming in here?
Yeah, very, very interesting.
Fucking disables your opponent from
I feel like they know what they were doing there.
So I don't think this will be the case.
I doubt it. What would you want to prevent there versus the...
All right, let's go get this.
This is
his opponent.
All right, next moment of sus. My UI's all over the place. I'm trying to fix this.
And one card which I always connect to water decks, and you probably know which one I mean from the deck.
The chat also liked it there.
That's a pretty cool trick, to be honest.
All right, the next moment of sus in this tournament, I think the most popular moment of sus was this. Who the heck is this? Nadir? I think that's MBT.
And he does have it, so Nadir with the lava golem in his hand, considering his options at the moment. And he does go for
lava golem.
So
let's go. So let's talk about lava golem.
But I think
Tribute 2 of your opponent's monsters.
holding,
Great.
Yeah, I think he's considering.
So what's sus about this?
Which makes this lava golem
Can you find the sus?
double-edged sword, I would say, because sure, you got rid of 2 of these monsters, but now there is this 3000 bit stick. Wow, and a set face down. Again,
wow, and a set face down. Wow.
Wow. Things done and
could not be normal summon set. Okay, that's normal. You could not.
I guess you have a lot.
You could not. You could not. Excuse me. Wow, end of set. The commentator. Wow. Wow. Yes. Now, to be fair, you need to be a Duel Links player to be familiar with how Lava Golem works, all right? The TCG players, they don't understand this very well. And also, even using Lava Golem, I would say, is a big deviation beyond summoning Beatrice and passing. So, understandable. Understandable. That's fine. All right. Now, let's get to the next moment of sus in this tournament. Also, by the way, this gave the ability of the elf another ability. So let's read the elf. Let's look at not released because it's not out yet for us. The elf states that if your opponent controls a monster, you could summon a link or rank 2 monster from your graveyard. Otherwise, you can only summon a level 2 monster from your graveyard. So that set monster even gave him an additional ability. But you may be thinking, okay, so he screwed himself, right? He's now targeting his link monster, which is illegally being targeted because he should not even be able to activate the Sprite Elf. But he's now using the Dragon Ice Prison to steal that link monster that should not even be summoned. So this game state is just obliterated. This is annihilated. Oh, we're not even playing Yu-Gi-Oh at this point. All right. We'll go to the next point. This is not really too sus. I would like to talk about how sus this is, and I would like for all of your opinion on this. I feel like Konami should change their policy. I'm calling for Konami policy change. So what is sus about this? Let's talk about it.
And he's going to mill.
Let's see these mills. It's again super polymerization, the sharing, the driver, the Merly, which he already used, but he's gonna have a few options. And I think this is an interesting take on the deck, really. I do like it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that...
So there you go. That's the moment of sus. It's quite subtle, but what he did there was he just note-taked. He took notes. He's using the dice to track the hard once per turn effects of Tearlaments, which, playtesting it myself, is something that it could be difficult to track in your head because it's all about the Merely, the Havness, and the Sharon. What's different about them is level 2, level 3, level 4. I like to track by the first letter of their name, S, H, M. Now, he's using dice for level 2, which means level 2 already activated. He's using dice to track the level 3 activation, and then if the level 4 activates, he'll put the dice on 4 for that. Now, according to the Konami policy, they say that this is not allowed, and I think it should be allowed. What do you all think? I think this is not a big deal. This says you may not use dice or other counters as a form of note-taking. I think another point of discussion here is this kind of note-taking even allowed? You're only allowed to track mandatory effect reminders, and if you track, you're supposed to track mandatory things to maintain a legal game state. So, for example, if you were to use a card like, let's go on Master Duel meta. This back in our day, we would always Reckless Greed, put the dice on top of the deck, which was technically not legal. You would be allowed to write down, and the public knowledge of you writing down, both you and your opponent are allowed to look at it. And this would be a card that everyone would screw this up. In fact, you could call this a cheater, where you would hope your opponent would draw under Reckless Greed, shuffle their hand, and then you call the judge and go, Judge, he destroyed the game state. He drew a card under the restriction of Reckless Greed where he's not allowed to draw, and now I get a free win. A lot of people would do that. So what do you all think about the note-taking with dice? In the example provided by Konami, they state that if you send a Burning Abyss monster Skarm to the graveyard, Skarm is in the graveyard, you're not allowed to write a reminder to search in the end phase for Skarm. During the end phase, if this is sent to the graveyard, you could add a monster from your deck to your hand. You're not allowed to write that reminder, but these are mandatory effects he's tracking. So what do y'all think? I think that dice, in a way, should be allowed. But I think the reason why you're not allowed to use dice is because your opponent might not know what you're like, what are you doing with the dice, bro? That's kind of sus. Initially, I saw a reaction to this. They thought that they were tracking the number of summons for Nibiru. They thought, because he summoned 2 monsters, then he put the dice at 2, and it was like, what? That's summon number 2? Flip the dice to 3, let's go. So it's interesting. It's interesting. If you're not allowed to track the amount of times you summoned, are you allowed to track the optional effects that you activated that are hard once per turn with the Tearlaments? So that's a big point of discussion, I think.
I mean,
Not too sussy. Little sus, little sus. Here is a duel going on. He normal summons his monster. Nothing sus about that. You all saw him normal summon a monster?
Can't be destroyed.
Normal summon a monster. And I do want to cover with Magic the Gathering that comparable to a normal summon, which is once per turn, is you're allowed to do what once per turn in Magic? Play a land. Well, apparently, I couldn't believe this. There are videos of people playing more than 1 land in a single turn, and their opponent's just like, oh, that's fine, because sometimes it gets muddied up with effects that allow you to play additional lands. So, you know, in Yu-Gi-Oh, you got normal summon, then special summon, so it can get confusing.
Normal
Wow.
summoning.
Where do you think we're going with this?
Is that enough for him, Devil?
He normal summons, and then I'm going to be skipping a little, but we're making sure we're going to stay on the same turn. Okay, we're on the same turn. We all agree on that. Turns are long. Turns are long.
Yep. And we are going to break now. We are popping.
Still the same turn. You know, a lot happens.
Let's double check on how many.
Oh,
and there the
There you go.
Ooh, that was a...
Let's double check on how
Oh, he
many.
popped the Sully.
Normal summon number 2.
Popped the Crystal Beast. So
Oh, and there
I'll
the
make those
okay,
into
yeah,
one.
I see. Right
Double
there.
summon, mate.
Huge mill, right?
Double
Those
summon.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Keck, wait.
It's not just running.
So what happens? The judge is also watching. The commentators are obviously watching. I'm watching. What do you do about this? No one knows. Is the Twitch chat going nuts at least? Like, what's going on with Twitch chat? Anyone saying double summon?
Because I don't think that
What's going on?
Runic, which is a new engine in the meta game, that is really
nothing.
popular, is struggling too
Nothing.
much with Winner, to be
I
honest.
think they start saying it in a while.
And therefore it's just
Oh,
not
there you
as
go. They're going. They're going.
And, therefore I think
He
Winner just
double
most of the
normal
time.
summoned.
And we are still going.
He
As I said,
already summoned?
Jack has a lot of gas, and he might be able to actually go for game here.
Didn't he already normal this turn?
This game is probably going to Daniel, and therefore we have a
He
1-1-1.
scooped. It's too late. You accepted the game state. It is over. He scooped. He scooped against double normal summon, and now it's too late. Double summon. Two summons. Ah ha 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 ha. This dude's just watching for, you know, he wants to see the world burn. That's it. All right. That's super sus. How sus out of 10 is that on the sus meter? We need a sus meter, Gia. You know, at least there was a big gap between him double summoning, but this other issue that we're about to watch is also very sussy.
Nicholas
Circular.
will be able to look up for his combo.
So what Circular did right there is Circular is sending a card from the deck to the graveyard. Let's type up Circular so you understand what's going on. Circular. You could send a math mech from your deck to the graveyard to special summon this card for your hand. And one of the most popular cards to send from the deck to the graveyard is going to be Sigma. Sigma, if you control no monsters in the extra monster zone, you could special summon this card onto the field. All right? Pretty cool combo. And that's exactly what he did so far.
Yeah, of course. This is the key card of the deck, the card which makes...
Right? He didn't Diameter summon, did he? Did Diameter special summon it?
Which is now be sending the...
Such a strong card.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
Did Diameter special summon it, actually?
And now with the Diameter as well, I think it will bring up...
Because I was reading the chat, they're saying that he Sigma'd effect. So let's read these Circular real quick. Circular, you could send a math mech from your deck to the graveyard, special summon this card from the hand. If another math mech is summoned while you control this monster, you could add a math mech from your deck to your hand. Now, Sigma does state that if you special summon this with its effect, you cannot summon anything but cyber monsters. So he decided to, he did use the effect of Sigma to special summon. And if I read Sigma, are you allowed to summon a non-Cybers before you use its effect that locks you into Cybers only? It would have to say for the rest of the turn. So let's read the Sigma real quick. Sigma states that for the rest of the turn, Cybers monsters. So you can summon Dweller before and then summon Sigma after. But a moment of sus is happening right now.
So you can see how much of a difference it makes to just know.
He's banishing to link it off for a Link Devotee.
in this particular case,
Looks like that Link Devotee's in a different language. I mean, they are in, what country are they in, Gia?
Still, Nicholas is...
Germany, I think?
And...
So you just summoned 2 tokens. Let's look at the Link Devotee. Link Devotee states that if this card is tributed, you could summon 2 tokens onto the fields. If this is co-linked, tributed. It was not co-linked. So only while co-linked and tributed do you get to summon 2 tokens in the field.
Essentially, yeah, the plan will be the one we have seen often. To just end.
I think that's the judge grabbing the card right now.
Which is such a powerhouse.
Did he use subtraction addition? I don't think so.
So much advantage.
Do those restrict you too? I didn't see it. Sigma effects, well, Sigma effect's not cheated, but you know, yeah, you can make sure it goes to the graveyard if you detach it with the Dweller. You can't even make Dweller with it if you use its effect where it would then be banished. So they did catch that, but then I feel like they are also talking about, is he locked in a Cybers? How do you summon Dweller?
What can he really do when he goes second?
So I do think this is a moment where you do have to be careful with onlookers where this could potentially spread false rumors. He used Sigma. How did he summon Dweller? Is he locked into Cybers? So I say that he did use the effect of Diameter to summon the Sigma. So the summon of the Dweller was legal. The Link Devotee was obviously illegal. Okay, this is a funny one. This is a funny one.
This is what, like, I mean, I mean, the Fiendness itself is
Lightning Storm, take out the back row.
You just use it right away.
Negate with Fiendus.
Negate it. Is there
Fiendus
something
is
more
a great negate in the...
Called by the Grave.
He's going to chain Call by the Grave.
Let's see it.
Call by the Grave on the Fiendus.
And he does.
Fiendus, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can negate by sending this to the graveyard. So we're going to Call by the Grave, banish the Fiendus. Be gone. All right, now where is the illegal in sus play here? So let's get to the moment. We're on his turn, we're on his turn. Everything's fine, everything's normal. He's flipping up the Math Mech Induction right now because he wants to use the effect to send it to the graveyard to then get popping.
I think he's probably doubling the attack. Yeah, because in damage step, essentially, try to use the
And?
induction to get the 500 attack booster, but then his opponent just answered with. He still has a lot of damage. For the induction,
He's now using the effect to pop a card in the field. Fiendus. Fiendus to negate. So he's using the induction to target Fiendus negate. Now,
I'm surprised that
the Fiendus is negated. It's not an illegal Fiendus activation. The Fiendus activation's fine. He's allowed to attempt to do it, but what he's not allowed to do is then flip down his monster because that's negated. He's undercalled by the freaking grave. The induction is also not negated. The monster is destroyed. So Called by the Grave just did not do anything beyond negating the first Fiendus. Can't wait. Super sus. Does the judge call it? Does the chat call it? Does the chat see it? I think this was posted on actually our Master Duel, where they're actually trolling at the expense of TCG players the fact that they forgot Called by the Grave. Now there's another Called by the Grave moment. This gets uncaught. The judges don't say anything, the commentators don't say anything. Called by the Grave should have negated it, but it did not negate it. Can't wait. Now, let's get into another Called by the Grave moment. He's activating his trap to summon 3 Math Mechs from the graveyard. What's he gonna do? He's targeting the 3. Let's get the Math Mech trap on the screen. Target 3 Math Mechs in the graveyard with different names. Special summon them.
And then he gets negated. So it's not too much of a difference, but it gives your opponent a little bit of
He's thinking. He's thinking. Oh, you can kind of see his hand.
Let's see.
Called by the Grave. It's actually in a different language. What is it called?
Wow.
Called by the Grave hit the diameter.
what I have from Luis.
Now it's still going to summon the other monsters. Very good.
It is just the perfect end. You
Now-
can see him just shaking his head. And,
He was the victim of Called by the Grave. Now he's the one using Called by the Grave. He did not know that the opponent's Called by the Grave negated his Fiendus. But will he remember that his own Call by the Grave is now negating any future diameter for the rest of this turn and the next turn?
Shaking his head quite a bit. By the way, there are 7
Let's go.
minutes and 30 seconds remaining. We have to keep that in mind. But this is so strong.
Will they fall for the Call by the Grave again? Dragoon? Oh yeah. Dragoon's here. Dragoon is here.
We do not forget how good
Dragoon is here.
How ridiculous.
Yeah, he has been smashing like the
Dragoon. Neither player could target this card with card effects, could not be destroyed by card effects. And what it does is you could use the effect to discard a card, negate the activation of a card.
I mean, I saw that Luis has...
Card effect is activated, negate the activation.
also has the final battle.
Yeah, but the cool thing is Red Ice Fusion as the restriction.
So right now, we're under Call by the Grave. The turn it was activated. And now we're going to go into the next turn, where diameter's still negated. But there's a few rulings to discuss here.
Actually come up with. It's tough.
Yeah, very
Freeman
fast.
MD, I do think so. I do agree with that.
Okay.
Okay, Lightning Storm is a decent way to...
Lightning Storm? Is that called Blitzstorm?
He's considering which, and he actually... His effects cannot be hit.
Okay.
Yeah, but here I think we're going
He summons Diameter.
What can you even go for? I think the goal is to go for Zeus, maybe?
Diameter is here. Activates. Diameter. Diameter on summon. Special summon a monster from the graveyard.
Diameter is the one you will
Activate.
try to use.
Target.
Let's see.
We good? We good? We good?
I think you have to, right? Because the
Yeah.
Zeus
Negate! He negated an already negated Diameter. Now, was that even a legal play? If you look at the Call by the Grave, Calls by the Grave states that the effects are negated. So until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. But Dragoon does not negate the effect. Otherwise, if Dragoon negated the effect, that would have been an illegal interaction. You cannot negate the effect of something that is already negated. So for example, a popular card in the event is Sprite Red, which will be coming to us soon. Sprite Red states that when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate the effect. Now, this would be illegal. You cannot Sprite Red negate the already negated diameter because you're negating the effect that's already negated. It's kind of like you can't impermanence with skill drain already face up on the field because you're trying to negate the effect it's already negated. But the Dragoon is allowed to do that because it is negates the activation. So there's no illegal play here. There's nothing sus about this. It's just a funny follow-up to he got called by the grave and used his effect under it still. And then, you know, that same player forgot a second time that called by the grave is supposed to be negating the monster. And I mean, do both players are unaware or what? I mean, did he seem confident that this is gonna work or what? And then he negated something that was already negated. Okay, here's a small one. A lot of players mess this up. If you're a tier limit expert in the chat, you probably screwed this up. Now, what he's using is he's using Jack. Jack is actually a nutty card in tier limits that I haven't really seen be used. Jack in the graveyard is going to banish this card, excavate the top card of your deck, and then because it was a tier limit and not a trap, it gets sent to the graveyard, it activates the fusion summon. So he fused into the Kit Kalos tier limit off of sending it from the top of the deck to the graveyard. Now he is sending the Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart being sent to the graveyard. This is a very cool chain. This is all during the opponent's end phase, by the way. This is nuts. He's now making the very cool fusion, the Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart on summon is going to shuffle a card in the field back in the deck. So this looks kind of complicated, what it just happened. So let's watch this real quick. So the kit activates to send the Rhino Heart from the deck to the graveyard. This is all off of the Jack. Now the Rhino Heart activates to discard a card from the hand as a card effect, and then summon itself on the field, then send a monster from the deck to the graveyard. So the Kaleido Heart requires 3 materials to make it. So what's very interesting is when you activate the effect to fuse off of the effect of the Rhino Heart sending a monster that's going to activate a fuse, you would have to be shuffling the kit on the field back to the bottom of the deck, which is what you obviously don't want to do. But I'm going to tell you what was illegal about this. So we have send to the graveyard, activate on Chain Link 1, so it's going to summon onto the field. Now we're going to Chain Link 1, fusion effect, Chain Link 2, send a monster from the deck to the graveyard.
And he is actually using the
so do you know what he did that was illegal when it's about to happen?
He's dumping Harvest. Yeah,
now to fuse, you put the cards on the bottom of your deck.
This is looking very, very good for Raphael.
Come forth, summons that, returns a card back in the deck. Now what he did was illegal. This was the sus play. The Rhino Heart states that if this card is special summoned, when it leaves the field, you have to banish it. You could special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. He puts it to the bottom of the deck. A lot of people forget about this. Instead of putting it to the bottom of the deck, or I should say, instead of banishing it, he put it to the bottom of the deck. Would he still be able to fuse? Yes. His field would still be the same. He's still able to fuse. It doesn't have to go to the bottom of the deck to fuse, but that's where it's supposed to go if it were not summoned through its own effect. But the fusion is still legal. The Rhino Heart should be banished, though. We had, I guess they don't put the deck names on the title. This was, oh, here it is, 6 Samurai. 6 Samurai. No freaking way. Let's get 6 Sam on the screen.
Yeah, but he has a lot of different targets for this reinforcement, which is already surreal. And as mentioned, Sadiki only card that can stop this.
He's 3-1. That's not bad. He's actually has a great record at the time of this recording. So let's bring up a 6 Sam deck. That's what 6 Sam's looking like. So the biggest thing about 6 Samurai is creating an infinite loop with Gateway. Gateway with 4 counters can add a 6 Sam from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And you search it by putting 2 warriors, including a 6 Samurai, together to search for the gateway. Now, the infinite loop is created between the Mizuho and the Shinai. Mizuho states that once per turn you contribute another 6 Samurai, then target 1 card in the graveyard, destroy that target.
and right away for dice roll, or
Wait, target one card in the field, destroy that target. Okay, so you tribute
if he wants to go for the Shogun right away,
the Shinai, and then the Shinai states that you can target a 6-6 in the graveyard, add to your hand. So what you do is you make Mizuho and Shinai. Mizuho tributes the Shinai, and then Shinai is going to summon onto the field, and then you get Mizuho in the graveyard, then you add her back, and then you just infinitely loop. You tribute, send to the graveyard, add back, special, and with 2 special summons, you get to search with the gateway. So let's get to that moment.
Okay, so, and this is a special summon. You can add.
You summoning. And what happens when an infinite loop happens? I'll tell you how you handle an infinite loop.
You can go right away and use the dojo, of course.
Oh, he has Nibiru.
Ooh, deck, and he does open.
Nibiru.
That's unfortunate.
That's how you handle an infinite loop. You Nibiru it, and that's it. That's the best end field to 6 Sam. You end on a token. But this Chad said, nah, I have only just begun. He keeps going. He keeps going through the Nibiru.
You see 4 monsters on the field, your mind goes into Appaloosa.
What card is he about to use? I think it's this one. I'll show you.
And to be honest, it could still be as good as it gets. So
Get ready. Do it. Do it. Do it.
And as we mentioned, no other interruption inside his deck, but we get to see dojo now.
Wait, you also had Dojo? Should he have Nibiru'd while Dojo has tokens? What the heck?
Yeah, because like even if you have
All right, Hatsume. Hatsume has the effect of banish 2 6 samurais from the graveyard, then special summon a 6 samurai.
Definitely an interesting one. It can get you again.
And we're back in business.
From the grave, you banish it, you just summon back a piece, and let's see if he's able to go for it. He does. So banish 1, get 1 back right away.
This is all the same turn. This is turn 1. Turn 1.
One of the others he got, which is the Mizuo.
So let's speed up through this.
Let's see. Here he could go for the
He is going to be making the Shogun. Shogun is going to be searching for the token. I should say the token gateway, limited to 1 gateway. Every 2 summons, the gateway is going to be able to search or add a 6 samurai from the deck or the graveyard.
It's one of those very few cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that can create this infinite loops in a way. So
And look, the commentator said there's very few cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that can create an infinite loop. We infinite looping. We looping.
It's really good because you get to, or he gets to use the effect.
So he's going to get to a moment where he tells his opponent, listen, I have an infinite loop, bro. And his opponent's not familiar with how the infinite loop works.
Just checking the correct amount of cards.
Every time he summons to where the Shogun is pointing to, he gets a counter. Anytime he summons a 6 samurai, he gets 2 counters. So if he summons a monster behind the Shogun where it's pointing, he gains 3 counters total. Summon, summon, summon. So that means every 3 summons, he could search for 2 6 samurais. When without the Shogun, it's every 4 summons. You could search for 2. So he's going to keep going. He's going. He's going. Now he's skipping the next main phase of his next turn by summoning a monster from the graveyard. He's setting up the loop. Set up the loop.
yes.
And timing is a big problem in the YCSs, so much so that we'll be talking about a huge controversy with it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Get Lupin, Saryuja, draw 4, return 3 back to the deck. Does he have the loop yet?
Once again.
He's still going. He's still going. He's still going. This is first turn. The timer's ticking. So essentially he's telling him, I have infinite counters on my Shogun, and I have infinite counters on my Gateway, and his opponent just accepted that. So what he's going to do now is the Gateway could search the entire deck of monsters, and the Gateway could search the graveyard, the entire graveyard of monsters. So look, you see, he just added, he's adding all of them. He just added 4 6 samurais from the deck. He could add all from the graveyard. So it's already established both cards have infinite counters. Infinite. And Saryuja's going to return the 6 samurais that he drew, that he searched back in the deck, then draw 4. He's going to draw 4, then return them, then search them again. So he's going to loop Saryuja to draw 4, return 3, and then infinitely search the 6 samurais from the graveyard to keep doing it over and over and over and over. And he gets to the point where, yeah, I've seen enough. So how do you actually first turn kill with this? Because he's got to inflict lethal damage, right? So what a lot of people do, some people, they like to loop Trishilla. Trishilla is going to be banishing their entire hand in graveyard. So you will start with 0 cards for your turn, and you'll draw into 1. You'll probably lose anyway. But what I believe he's about to do is he's going to summon Cannon Soldier. Cannon Soldier banned in OCG, banned in Master Duel, tribute a monster, not once per turn, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. He's scooping before he even does it. So how you would summon this is Saryuja, in addition to drawing forward turn 3, has the effect of once per turn you could summon a monster from your hand. So you keep looping Saryuja until you draw a Cannon Soldier, then you special summon Cannon Soldier, tribute, loop your monster on the field, keep tributing, lethal damage. Now a lot of people, if you're not using Cannon Soldier, they use Archer instead. Archer is very similar to the Cannon Soldier. Is Archer banned anywhere? Also, wow, banned in Japan, banned in Master Duel. They could use this also. At 3 in TCG, you tribute 2 monsters, inflict 1,200 damage to your opponent. So now the duel is 1-in-1. He just got first turn killed. How do you respond to getting first turn killed? You first turn kill them back. That's right. He first turn killed through Nibiru, and now his opponent's going to perform a different first turn kill. The first turn kill he does is not available in Master Duel yet. It will be available soon. So he is going to, let's type in, I think we could type in Albaz, not released, and that will give us the cards that he's using.
And luckily for us, there are still about 15 minutes left in the round, so nothing to worry about.
It's going to revolve around this card.
So essentially, what I was telling you guys is this is the card for
Branded Expulsion. Brand Expulsion states that if you tribute a fusion monster that mentions Fallen Albaz as material to activate this card, you can special summon both monsters to your field. And so what you do is you target 2 non-fusion monsters that are banished or in either player's graveyard. And then you tribute your fusion monster, and then you summon 1 copy onto your opponent's side of the field and 1 copy onto your side of the field. So you'll see what he does. Albion, searching for the expulsion. So the Mirror Jade banished the Jester, the Alubur, to then grab the expulsion during the end phase of the effect of Albion. All right, draws for turn. But again, I thought you saw that this was first turn kill. Well, it's in your opponent's draw phase. He set it up first turn. He activates Expulsion, tributing the Mirror Jade. He's targeting the Alubur and another monster in the graveyard, and he's giving it to his opponent. I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to give myself Alubur. And the 6 Samurai is like, hold up. I'm a master of first turn killing. What is this, Judge? Judge? Well, what did he just give him? He just gave him a card called Ido. Ido states, and the way to get it in the graveyard is it's dark, so you send it to summon Lubellion. You cannot summon monsters. That's it. You cannot summon monsters. Can't summon monsters. Judge, is this legal? Bro, you just first turn killed him. You really gonna ask me if this is legal? Yeah, looks at his hand, he's like, oh, shite. I can't summon monsters. Cannot summon. You FTK'd me, I FTK you. Will this actually be a popular strategy in the future of Master Duel? I'm not sure. I don't know, man. Some people have fun with it on the ladder, I'm sure, but this is quite funny. It's not that hard to set up. So a good way to get out of this would be Droplet, right? No Ballista, feels bad. No Ballista. You can only control 1 Ido. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon it from your graveyard during the next standby phase and destroy all other monster control. Just kind of screwed. And then we could skip to this duel. Does he ever get rid of it? Can't summon. Yeah, bro. Can't summon. Oh, finally decides to banish it. I guess that he's going for lethal, right? Whoa, he did it again. He did it again. No way. Another expulsion. All right, Gek, look, he's still trying to play through it. He's gonna branded opening. Okay. I still can't summon. He had hope. It left the field, then it came back on the field. I can't believe he's still just playing this out. He's not. I mean, it's game 3. Why would you surrender? Just keep going. Let's go. Let's go. Still can't step. Yep. He's good. And that's the handshake. All right, I FTK'd you, you FTK'd me. What the hell, bro? Like, he was even pointing. I think he's getting props afterward. Very good. Here is a moment of sus, and let's paint the picture of the sus. There's a very cool tech idea in the tournament of the YCS, which was using the cat. Sprite has just lost Ronin Totem, so they are now getting more creative with their level 2 monsters. The Mannequin Cat is that very interesting new card that they are abusing. It's not new, but I think it's a new strategy. I haven't really seen it when people are just making Ronin Totems instead. This is just 2 level 2 monsters. You could detach material, target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field. Okay. Its main effect is the trigger effect. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's fields, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon a monster with the same type or attribute from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So this has been a very interesting card that people are using, and what they're using an OG card. Gia knows about this. Thunder King Rayo. If your opponent summons a Thunder or Light monster, you now special summon a Thunder King Rayo from your deck. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. It's like the Thunder Dragon Colossus. Also, when your opponent would special summon, you could send this from the field to the graveyard to negate the special summon. So negate an Exceed, negate a Link. That's huge. They can't add cards. So they've been abusing this strategy. Joshua is using that card. Very good.
No need to rush to game
But
3.
something sus happens.
Lightning Storm coming down from the
Lightning
jungle.
Storm, wipe out the back row.
That's
And on the website, we have the top deck list of the YCS. So we could bring up one of the Runic Sprite deck.
My. And here from the end, a tip from Joshua, which is gonna get actually the destruction chained.
All right, he is chaining his cards.
Another chain link from Joshua.
All the Runic cards, they require your opponent to banish cards off the top of their deck.
So still
He's
not
going to
over
chain the
yet.
Sprite starter. That's going to summon a Sprite from the deck.
yeah. I mean, for sure you.
He's activating the Sprite tip.
To activate all his effects.
Add a Runic card, pop a card in the field. So he's going to make his opponent banish 5 cards off the top of the deck. 5 cards banish and summon a monster from the deck. And he summons the red. Red's now going to be able to negate a monster effect.
The Testudo or the Thunder King Rayo.
All right.
Let's see.
The moment of sus has not happened yet. We'll speed this up. Look, they're already talking about Thunder King Rayo. They know the combo because that's what she do. She summons that Thunder King.
Interruption caused problems to Joshua.
Yes. Because honestly, I was
But,
worried when I
yeah,
saw
it's in the side deck.
with like 18 end shots between main and
There you go,
side.
side deck. Special summon Thunder King Rayo from the side deck.
We already see Francesco committing
We're going to
the-
summon the Twin. Twin's going to special summon a monster, which will trigger the Cat. The Cat's going to be triggered right now.
It's the Lila once again.
The opponent's about to special summon
Tough spot.
Yeah,
a
still
light
honestly,
monster.
obviously got us hyped and the crowd as well, but
Let's
it's
go,
not
let's
going
go.
to be enough to fight back. And it's actually not going to use it. Interesting.
Wait, did he negate?
Decides to go for the spell. Let's see where he goes from here.
Activate, activate.
It's the Mannequin is 2000 attack.
Okay,
He goes and
so it was
pushes
stopped,
forward. He
but
does
he's
not
going
hit
to special summon from the hand. Was it stopped or he didn't have a monster summon? Not relevant to the situation. Special summons a light.
Now, we do see the
Let's
Mannequin being
go.
used. Francesco really considering his options. As mentioned, doesn't really need to
So
rush.
let's see how this goes without being interrupted. On special summon, trigger the effect, special summon Thunder King Rayo. Boom, it's over. You link summon, Rayo negates. You add a card from the deck to the hand, Rayo negates. You know what I'd do in this situation? I'd offer the handshake. You got me, I'm done, sign the slip, we out. Something sus happened though. You can't do that. You can't do that. Cannot do that. Illegal.
Which obviously couldn't be summoned. Yeah, so now Joshua realizes the big...
The judge is like, hey, no. Good judge, great judge. I don't think the commentators would have caught that because they were talking about him doing that play. So what happened? Why was that an illegal play? And that seems super sus, especially back in my day. You don't really go into the deck that much, especially on your opponent's turn. How quickly on your opponent's turn, you just pick up your deck, summon a monster, and it's like, hold up, you weren't supposed to do that. Like, whoa, you just picked up your deck, bro, what the? So what just happened here? Why was that illegal? The Sprite starter states that for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except level, rank, and link 2 monsters. So he summoned a monster from the deck, and now he's locked into level, rank, and link 2 monsters that he's only able to summon. And what he do? He summoned a level 4. So that was illegal. The opponent didn't catch it. He didn't catch it. The judge caught it. Very good on the judge. I don't think the commentators caught it. And that's a really devastating play. I mean, that's why you sat in the Rayo to do that wombo combo play. So that's huge. Absolutely crazy. Very good on the judge.
Starter a little too soon.
Accepted game state. Do not accept the game state. Gia was talking about in Brains you have an AI that's helping you with the rulings, right, Gia?
Yeah,
Well, what if the judge wasn't here? The judge was the AI. Very good. All right, now, let's get into the sussiest part, the finale of all of this. To conclude the sus, let's go. Nothing sus. Nothing. I processed every play here up to 39 minutes. Everything seems normal. Very good. Nothing sus. Yep, normal. Totally normal. Oh. Something sus. Sus alert, sus alert, sus alert.
He probably doesn't care that much about it, and he has summoned plenty of them after that. So this might become a race.
What the heck is that? What the heck is that? What the sus? Red Resonator. When this card is special summoned, target a face-up monster in the field, gain life equal to its attack. You can only use this effect once per turn. What is this a good strategy for? It's a very good strategy for just the timer. That's it. In Master Duel, you would not use this under any circumstance. Gaining life is for no other reason than to beat the timer. Jokingly beat the timer. But Dkayed, how is this sus? I'm gonna get to the really sussy part that's really messed up about this. This is what I think, I'm kind of upset about this. I know a lot of other people are upset about this. Not this itself. This is kind of like Cowboy for Game. Jokingly Cowboy for Game, but this is not a joke. This is actually happening. So 9,500 life.
Gain effect there, Red Resonator.
He's targeting the Gigantic Sprite, and Gigantic Sprite is gigantic. That's 3,200 life point gain. 3,200, huge. So we're gonna keep on going. Look at the timer. Timer is dropping. 9,500 life from the gain, and he's gonna do it again, I think. He knows he's got 2 minutes. He's got 2 minutes to win this. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh, Red Resonator. Red Resonator's back on the field. 11,000 life. 11,000. His opponent's life doesn't matter anymore. It's just how high can we get with the timer hitting 0 and we win. So what happens when the timer hits 0? You'll see.
It's being summoned to the field, but can it be enough? He passes the turn. He had no weather face because of this runic spell in turn 1, and now Joshua just really needs to find a way to get rid of his Evermax and poke for more damage. I don't even know whether he needs to do that, because he can actually just chill for now because he is in the leading spot.
We gain life. That's all we're doing. We gain life. Life. Gain.
On his own. He linked away those 2 monsters, checking the opponent's GY.
All right, we got 50 seconds. He knows. I mean, he has to know that he wins. That's it. He knows it's over. He knows it's over. 40 seconds. I don't know their view of the timer. Can they see the timer somewhere? Do they know? Does he know that he's winning in 20 seconds because that life point gain? Is he doing it again?
I want to see if there is a way.
How high can he go? Imperm negate, bro. Judge, time. That's it. Woo, that's it. Red Resonator, let's go. Now, what was sus about this, besides that kind of being inherently sussy? This is what's really not cool, but this caused a bit of controversy. I'm going to show this on screen. He was not allowed to scoop. The other player said, I was not allowed to scoop in the grand finale, which, oh, Dkayed, you hypocrite, you have that rule in your own tournaments. I don't have time limit rules in my grand finale. So when I say you can't scoop, you're playing the full 2, 3, 4, 5 hour duel. I don't care how long it takes. But they are abiding by a time limit, and then arbitrarily, out of nowhere, it's not in the rules anywhere, they said, you're not allowed to scoop in the grand finale. And he talks about it. He goes, once I knew I couldn't scoop, I knew I was going to lose the entire match off of just game 1. He was not allowed to scoop game 1, and that's what really messed up. He thinks that screwed him up from even having a chance of winning at all. Let's read his reaction.
one thing I want to mention is like the time rule in the finals, which was really weird. They told me I can't concede. I have to play out. We have to play out every game until we are dead. So I couldn't concede, and I knew I was going to lose game 1. And if I don't, I don't lose fast enough, I always lose in game 3 in time. So it was clear that I will lose the finals.
Right. Okay.
He's saying that within game 1, he knew that because he couldn't scoop early, that he was going to lose to time in the whole finals. He knew that it was already over within game 1. That because he's not allowed to scoop, which was a made-up rule, all right, I guess I lose the whole grand finale and I'm just playing to play. Did he life point gain? Let's see. So this is Joshua Schmidt's deck, the Runic Sprite, which did very well. Did 30% in the top 64 after losing the Ronin Totem. That's crazy. Everyone was saying Tearlaments was by far the best deck. Yet Runic Sprite did insane, incredible. Tearlaments was the most played deck of the tournament. So look at that conversion rate. The Runic Sprite, 10%, then 30%. Holy moly. 11%, 9%. So the Joshua Schmidt deck, he was able to use the strategy of the Red Resonator to win, which is a legitimate strategy. It's accepted. There's nothing sus on his part of doing this. No fault of his own whatsoever. Now, the second place dude playing the same deck, does he have life point gain? I didn't check. I don't know. He does too. So he does have it too. Oh, no. It got randomly banished. Oh, no. So all the Runic cards, when you activate them, you banish the top cards of your opponent's deck randomly. Randomly banish the top cards of his deck. And this is supposed to be in the deck, and you special summon it onto the fields, and then you recycle it with Elf. So once you get it on the field, you get it on the field with the Gigantic Sprite, and then you resummon it from the graveyard every turn with Elf to gain life, gain life, gain life. He couldn't keep up because it randomly got banished.
Well.
Oh my god,
So
it like just had...
If this is just a pure hand with Runic
This
and
dude
Strike
had a chance to summon it turn 1, and he didn't.
This is a really strong
So
card.
it's literally the top card of his deck.
It is. So, Joshua, considering his options even more, I think he will have to make a decision now, and he has exactly done so. So we are starting things off here with the freezing curses, which should negate the Elf.
No! Is there a reaction? He could have summoned it turn 1. It's game 2. There's 13 minutes on the clock. Should he have summoned it?
We are banishing the Red Resonator, and the Forbidden dropped it right there.
What's his reaction? Did he shake his head? Did you see that?
And the Forbidden should negate
The Elf.
the Elf. And we are banishing the Red Resonator, and the Forbidden dropped it right there.
I think I caught a
Not a high value card, however. This card can be important.
That's
later
it.
in the game.
In his head, he popped off. In his head, let's fucking go! That sucked. That sucks. Big time. So what do y'all think about that? Was that messed up from Konami to... Why is there a time limit in the grand finale? I think Magic doesn't have a time limit in grand finale. I don't know. Do they or what? It's kind of weird. You can't surrender, but you have to abide by the time limit, and then both players are side decking to play around the time limit. Are we playing Yu-Gi-Oh! As intended or what? At least in the grand finale here, that's kind of messed up. I've seen some suggestions about how to handle the time limit differently, that maybe the time limit should be 40 minutes, but then a 15-minute overtime, a 10 to 15-minute overtime once reaching 40 minutes to do the end of match procedure to, you know, have a couple turns each and then just end the duel. Now, there's another controversial ruling that was in effect in the YCS before. Another ruling I disagree with, but I understand because I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's a correct ruling. Let's bring it up. Runic, which we're going to get in Master Duel 9 months to a year. 9 months to a year, we're going to get these cards. And what's very cool about these Runic cards is they are a nice little toolkit of being able to deal with anything. You could destroy back row, you could pop special summon monsters, you could negate, you could search. But they all have the same effect of you must skip your next battle phase after activation. Skip your battle phase after next activation. So I will say what I believe to be the correct ruling. I believe the correct ruling is you have to declare that you are attempting to enter the battle phase that you are skipping. It was ruled at the YCS that you don't have to do that. That it is assumed, or if not assumed, you just skip your battle phase even without the intent to enter the battle phase. Who agrees with that? Do you think that's okay? I don't feel like that's okay to have as the rule, but I understand why they would do it though. Because what would happen is, I would say Gia did not enter the battle phase, or at least attempt to, so her battle phase is skipped for the next turn. And then she goes, no, I definitely tried to enter the battle phase. He wasn't paying judge, and that would eat up a lot of judge resources. So unfortunately, a card like this, which is all the Runic cards have this, is just bad for a live event. This is, you know, more custom tailored for something like Master Duel, where if you do not attempt to enter the battle phase, you're skipping your battle phase next turn. Too bad, no takesies, backsies, that's gonna be the deal. So I kind of understand it, but you know, that's an example that the head judge could literally announce that we're going to go against the rules, but because I'm the head judge, that's now the rule. So it's not illegal, it's not cheating, it is the rule, it's the new rule to go against the rule. Sus. All right.